Undo.
We are live, folks. If you are now joining us, we are bringing to you wall-to-wall coverage of the countrywide protests around the country against the forced vaccination. You're looking at scenes from Linden. Those persons who are now joining us, welcome to the coverage today of the protests around the country against forced vaccination. Again, we're getting scenes from the mining town of Linden. We're now starting up there. There are going to be protests happening in Georgetown, the East Coast, East Bank, Lethem, Linden, and in Linden, of course, they're assembling at 3 different points. So we want to welcome you to the broadcast. We want to ask you, of course, to continue to share the live stream as you come on. My name is Randolph Critchlow. We want to say thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us as we bring to you today's coverage of what is happening around the country. We're getting footage right now from MP Devin Sears, who is in Linden. We will be having MP Christopher Jones, Chief Whip Christopher Jones, in Georgetown. Our correspondents are on the ground. Shara Duncan, of course, will be in Linden. Andrew Weeks is in Georgetown. And we're going to have, of course, commentary coming from myself. Those persons on the ground, we should be joined by Odessa Primer sometime to give her take. And we're going to be joined by our correspondent, Nicole Telford, later. Let's hear what Devin is saying.
Tell us about how you feel about this mandatory vaccination that your minister wants to impose on you.
Well, for all leaders, we're unfairly treated. One, we were they're teaching for a year actually when this thing happened, COVID-19. So why now make it mandatory while we were out there sharing the grants, while we were out there teaching the grade 6, while we were there doing CXC on. So why make it mandatory now? It is unfair to us. It's apparently like teachers are not respected in society. We want respect, and we're out here for respect today.
Well, thank you very much, Shonika. Now, the thing is, right, outside of just being vaccination, you said that you're not being treated fairly. I mean, are you expecting the salary increase this year?
Yes, we're expecting salary increase too. We're out here doing this for the COVID-19 also, for the increase of our salary. We need more money. We need more money. Hear our voices today. It's not about just you people, but hear the voices of the teachers out here, the nurses out here, the policemen out here, and all the others. As the grocery goes up,
yes, cost
of living going up all the time. How are we going to get about in our communities? We care about us, and we want you all to care about us. The policemen out here and all the others. As the grocery goes,
if you don't take the vaccine, you have to produce a PCR test.
Well, just look at that. We have to produce PCR tests when we're drawing actually 97,000, let's say that. And if we need to do that every week, we have to produce one. Therefore, if we produce for this week, come next week, we cannot produce because of our salary.
That's right. All right, thank you so much, Shonika. Remember, it's not too late to be a part of the Linden Unity March. We're out here at the 5 corner, and then we're going to move off from here very shortly.
Right, so we are, of course.
All right, let's talk with some other persons who have some brief concerns. With it.
This girl.
All right, good. So
You try to put up your mouth.
you're talking about no vaccination. Why is it that you believe that it's your body and it's your choice?
It is my body and my choice. Simply because no one's supposed to make any choice for you. You're supposed to make the choice for your body. So say no to poison. I repeat, say no to poison.
My body,
My choice.
my body,
My choice.
my body,
My choice.
my body.
My choice.
I hear you. My body,
My choice.
my body.
My choice.
All right. Are you ready to move out now? All right. All right, folks. We're almost ready to move off. We're going to move off in an early manner. We have this banner. This one is going to be in front. We're not using up the entire roadway. We're using up half of it. That's on the left-hand side. All right? So let's start getting organized. The other folks already moved out already. Remember, let's try our best to social distance.
Steven?
Hey, honey. It's right there.
They already passed.
I just leave
You're bad. You're bad.
I'll take this. I'll just go slow.
Folks, welcome again. We ask you to share the live stream. We ask you to share the live stream as we bring to you what is happening around the country. We start, of course, with Linden here. This is what is happening in Linden. We're being told that we're going to be joined by the folks down at the Coffee Square in just a moment as we talk about what is happening today and what would have spurred this action around the country.
My body, my body, my body, my body, my body, my body, my body. My body, 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 where you? My body, 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 my body,
My choice.
my body,
My choice.
my body,
My choice.
my body,
My choice.
my
right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Of course, I'm going to be with you for the entirety of the program, and I ask you, of course, to share the live stream as we start off with what is happening there in Linden. What is happening there in Linden? Of course, we ask you to share the live stream. Let everyone know what is happening on the ground in Guyana. Let everyone know what is happening. So as we watch things kick off in Linden, we know that a number of other locations are now starting up. A bit of late start. We're supposed to start a little earlier, but we're on the move now. And of course, Linden has 3 locations that they're starting from: the Bay Rock Junction, the 5 Corner, and the I can't remember the other one. I think it was the Water Wheel. But they're all converging at the Linden Martyrs Monument, where they'll have a mini rally. But that's what's happening there in Linden. Of course, we'll be joined by our correspondents on the ground at Coffee Square in just a moment. But as we wait on that, we ask you, of course, share the live stream. Let everyone know what is happening on the ground here in Guyana. Do share the live stream. Do not be afraid to share it, folks. Do not be afraid to share the live stream as we talk about what's happening. So as we allow persons to share and the numbers to grow, folks, we're going to be joined by our usual political correspondent, Miss Nicole Telford, who is going to be talking with us a little bit as we continue to keep an eye on what is happening there on the ground. Nicole in Georgetown here. Nicole, welcome to the broadcast. I think your mic is off. Oh, let me unmute you. You think you need to unmute your mic, Nicole? Your mic is off. Your microphone. Nicole, your microphone is off. As Nicole gets that sorted out, we of course continue to bring you footage of what is happening. Your microphone is off, Nicole. But this is scenes from Linden, folks. These are the scenes from Linden as we ask you to share the live stream. Share the live stream. These are the scenes from Linden right now. These are the scenes from Linden. So we're going to get that sorted out with Nicole. Her microphone is muted there. But we're going to be bringing you what is happening around the country, folks. Very, very important day. Very, very important day. As you see, the crowd is quite significant there from one location in Linden. Right? What's happening there in Linden, folks? As I said, we're going to be joined by persons around the country. So the people in Linden are out in their numbers. We want to remind you, of course, that we will be on for the entirety of this protest action around the country. You have time to share the live stream, get your friends know, let everyone know that we are on and we're bringing to you the live coverage of what is happening around the country. Of course, we'll be joined by Christopher Jones on the ground in Georgetown. We will be joined by also Sherrod Duncan, who is in Linden, who is setting up there to bring what is happening in Linden to us. In Georgetown here, our political correspondent, Nicole Telford, will be helping us to break down and unpack all that is happening around the country. Linden, of course, those 3 locations there. Folks, we continue to bring you that. Of course, let's just ensure that we share the live stream. Share the live stream.
This Wednesday, August 25th, be part of history. Be part of the Linden Unity March. We march against discrimination.
This is what is happening there on the ground in Linden. Thank you very much for sharing the live stream. Let's see if we can make contact with Nicole. Nicole, I think we're trying to make some contact with Nicole Telford there. As we start the broadcast, folks, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We're told that and of course, if you want to be a part of the protest action today, you can go down to the coffee square there. There are persons assembling there. The crowd has grown, and we're going to get some images and footage from down there in just a bit. But let's welcome in Nicole Telford to be a part of our discussion. Nicole, welcome to the program. I don't think Nicole is hearing me.
I don't know what's happening and if you're hearing me or your listeners
right.
are hearing me, but I'm unable to hear you. I tried to get the program, but it's not working.
Right, and we are hearing you good. We are hearing you quite well. We hear you quite well. Right. So I don't think Nicole is hearing us now. So this is quite strange. Again, we've had some technical difficulties, but we're working that out, folks. We're working them out. We're working them out right now. We continue to bring you the footage of what is happening there in Linden. That again is interrupted. But we're going to be, this is just the beginning, folks. Again, this is just the beginning. We're going to be bringing to you wall-to-wall coverage of what is happening there on the ground with the protest. Again, all you need to do at this point in time is share the live stream, because all of the images and all of the commentary will be coming in just a few moments as we start up today. Today is reckoning. Today is a day of reckoning, folks. And as we start up today, we ask you to share. Share it on your WhatsApp groups. Share it in your Facebook groups, to your Facebook friends. Let them know that we are going to be bringing to you live commentary as we see what is happening around the country. Right, let's just
My choice, my choice, my choice, my choice.
Right, that's what's happening in Linden, folks. Again, you know, I guess the signal there is a bit thing, but again, share the live stream. We're now starting up here, folks. Let me just go to a quick break as we sort out some of the technical difficulties. A quick break and we'll be back. In the meantime, we ask you to share the live stream. Share it far and wide.
This Wednesday, August 25th, be part of history. Be part of the Linden Unity March. We march against discrimination, dictatorship, suppression, racism. We march against forced vaccination. We assemble at 10 a.m. at 3 different locations. The Five Corners at Mackenzie, the Water Wheel at Christiansburg, the Bayrock Junction in Wismar. The march will culminate at the Linden Martyrs Memorial Site, where conversations will be had. Linden, put on your shoes and come on out. We march on Wednesday, August 25th. We assemble at 10 a.m. at 3 different locations. The Five Corners at Mackenzie, the Water Wheel at Christiansburg, the Bayrock Junction in Wismar. Linden, put on your shoes and come on out.
Right, folks, right. Again, we are bringing to you coverage of what is happening there. The signal from Linden has ended, so we'll definitely continue to bring you more coverage of that. Again, folks, a lot of things are happening on the ground, and we are just waiting for our correspondents to come in and give us what's happening there. We're getting word that the crowd there at the Coffee Square has built up quite a bit. And of course, if you want to be a part of this protest, go out there, because you know what is being said in some circles, because this doesn't affect me or it doesn't affect my child, I don't need to protest. But again, whether your child is in a public school or a private school, this mandatory vaccination affects you. So let us welcome back Nicole Telford to continue this conversation. as we talk about what would have spurred these actions around the country. Nicole, welcome back to the show.
Good day, Randy. Thanks for having me.
Right. Let's dive in quickly. Yesterday we saw some actions being taken by the Ministry of Education, which seems to be the turning point. And I would have said this some time back that the issue in education and vaccination of children and teachers will be the turning point for persons, because we know the confusion that will happen when school has to reopen, and teachers may not be allowed to go into their classrooms. And some teachers are also saying, well, if we are being forced to be vaccinated, what about the children? Can't the children interact with their parents and bring the COVID to school? And so there's a lot of questions. And what the minister said yesterday, I think, triggered a lot of teachers and a lot of parents, that if you don't want to vaccinate your child, you might as well keep them home and homeschool them. Jump in here, Nicole. How do you feel the people are reacting to this?
People will react irrationally to this because they're getting irrational information. Nothing is planned. If you track throughout the Caribbean with the various leaders, Caribbean heads of government, and even their COVID-19 representation or their ministries, various ministries of health.
Yeah.
Result as the data rises. In Guyana, it's ad hoc. At best, no planning plan, just some information going out, asking teachers one set of questions, some ideas going out here, a few information coming out on the other end. No exact plan as to how do we reopen school, when we reopen it, what ages are eligible for school attendance. And with regards to the Pfizer vaccine that's now out, they need to give people the direct information on the Pfizer vaccine. I see the US states that the Pfizer vaccine must be administered to children 16 years and over. Guyana is saying 12 years and over. Is that the correct thing?
Yeah.
That is our protest. The information they're in and we're receiving from Guyana is, and most of the time ad hoc, are unaware. People are not in the direct information. So parents are wondering what to do, how to proceed, where to go. There are no clear indicators from the education ministry. No clear indicators. So you will have this kind of large protest rising up in communities all across Guyana because of lack of guidance and from minister.
All right. So again, we got most of that. Well, again, we're breaking up a little bit, but I want to continue down that same line. This idea that there seems to be no sort of clear plan by the ministry is borne out in the fact that they have said that school will be reopened, but with individualized plans. I don't know what that means, and the GTU General Secretary last night asked that. She really doesn't know what that means. What do you mean when you say individualized plans? But we are told that they are leaving it up to teachers. They're leaving it up to teachers, Nicole, and they're saying to teachers and HF, you have to decide in terms of the amount of vaccination that's happening in the community, the amount of persons vaccinated in the schools, whether or not you will reopen schools on a particular basis. So again, we do not know what is happening, right? And then, of course, you have the situation where you are telling teachers, you must be vaccinated, when there is no clear plan on when school will be reopened. There's just these things you're hearing by the way. And so I know the teachers out there today, they're joining the nurses, they're joining the bus drivers, the taxi drivers, the parents who are concerned. Because one parent called me, she said, listen, and you know, even though she said my child is in private school, and I didn't think that she knew that private schools will be forced to do the same thing too. But people are really upset, Nicole. Really upset. Nicole, do you with me? Right.
Yes, that's what it is. That's why books are on the ground, so that they get the message and they understand that you cannot force people to be vaccinated with an experimental or what they call
Emergency
it,
use.
experimental drug or vaccine. The persons have to be informed by the relevant authorities. They must feel confident enough to take that vaccine, and that is how you proceed. You don't punish them. There's already a pandemic, and then you punish them further by mandatory vaccines. And when your stakeholders call on you and tell you, listen, we're not getting business, we're not doing this, you retract, and then you start back putting pressure on. That's what the PPP is doing, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
retracting information. They're telling you this is what's happening, and within 2 weeks we will mandate the mandatory situation will be implemented, re-implemented, and before the 2 weeks is up, the Ministry of Education and many other organizations in Ghana, they're refusing entries to persons who are unvaccinated, which is entirely wrong. They must have plans and
Yeah.
programs and not be punishing citizens who genuinely do not understand, fearful, taking the vaccine.
Yeah. Yeah. Nicole, as you speak, we're getting some other footage out there from the Square of the Revolution, and we are going to try and bring that to our viewers now. That has started there. Let me see if I can bring that in for our viewers. A number of persons have assembled out there at the Square of the Revolution, and we want to bring that to our viewers. Right? We're trying to get that now. Right? So again, it seems as though there is mischief afoot, Nicole. It seems as though there's mischief afoot when it comes to the signals, because it seems as though everybody who is out there seems to be affected in some way with their bandwidth. So we're trying to bring to you what is happening on the ground there, but it seems to be interrupted again. But we're going to continue trying. We're going to continue trying. We're asking our viewers to continue to share the live stream. That's how we're going to get the message across. If you share the live stream, share it far and wide so that persons may be able to view what is happening here in Guyana. Do not stop sharing. Let us share the live stream as much as possible, and continue to let people know what is happening. Right? Again, we are bringing to you images and footage from around the country. Let us take a quick break as we continue to speak with Nicole here, and we try to establish what is going on the ground. I think we'll be joined now by MP Natasha Singh Lewis, who is on the ground at Coffee Square there. Let me see if we can get her in. Right. Hi, Natasha.
Hi, Randy, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Nicole, good morning.
Right. MP, I know we're coming there, but I would ask you if you can do a little adjustment for me for our viewers' sake. If you can adjust your phone and put it landscape for us, if that is possible. Right? Right. So as the MP gets her right. Great. Right. as the MP gets her footage together, we are going to be joining us as you hear, and you know, it's quite interesting to see the amount of persons on the Square of the Revolution there already. But we're going to be bringing her in just a few, and a number of other persons will join us. Right, a number of other persons will join us. Nicole, you still there with us? Nicole, I think Nicole again is having some issues, but again, we are going to be live, folks. We're not going anywhere. We are going to get this right today. Sharon is in Linden, Chris is on the ground, Andrew Weeks is on the ground, Devin Sayers on the ground at number of locations in Linden. They're going to be coming in. As the MP sorts out her camera there, we are going to be coming in with her also. Let's just quickly take a quick break and we'll be right back.
This Wednesday, August 25th, be part of history. Be part of the Linden Unity March. We march against discrimination, dictatorship, suppression, racism. We march against forced vaccination. We assemble at 10 a.m. at 3 different locations. The Five Corners at Mackenzie, the Water Wheel at Christiansburg, the Bayrock Junction in Wismar. The march will culminate at the Linden Martyrs Memorial Site, where conversations will be had. Linden, put on your shoes and come on out. We march on Wednesday, August 25th. We assemble at 10 a.m. at 3 different locations. The Five Corners at Mackenzie, the Water Wheel at Christiansburg, the Bayrock Junction in Wismar. Linden, put on your shoes and come on out.
Right, folks, right. We are going to be continuing our live stream. Share, folks, share. Do not stop sharing. It is going to be an interesting day here in Guyana because we are speaking out. We're standing up and we're speaking out against the forced vaccination mandate by this fraudulent administration. Forced vaccination mandate. We just I think we are going to be joined now by our colleague Sher Duncan, who is on the ground in Linden. Natasha Singh Lewis is going to be coming back in. Right, let's see what's happening with Sherrod here. Right.
Very good morning, folks.
Morning, Sherrod, morning.
And welcome. Quite a the volume here is a lot, and so for the folks who are joining us back at our studios, we might not be able to hear you,
Okay.
but we are joining you from the iconic Linden Wismar Bridge, where the procession now is moving towards. Privileged to be joining the broadcast. Thanks to all those who are joining in the ring. Remember to share the live stream. Hundreds of persons here joining this protest against forced vaccination.
My choice.
Right, folks. So what's happening here in Linden. That's what's happening there in Linden. We're also joined by MP Natasha Singh Lewis and Christopher Jones, who is on the ground there in Georgetown. But we're going to continue with what is happening in Linden. Right?
Yeah.
I want my
So that's what's going on in Linden. There, folks, we also are monitoring what is happening on the ground in in Georgetown at the Square of the Revolution. So it's a lot happening, folks. A lot happening. Again, share the live stream. So
Folks,
people
again,
across
some of the sites of coming from the Wisma Bridge.
We want to support you. Everybody ready on the back?
No gear. No vaccine, no gear.
Guys, I want to bring some interviews here.
They're gonna start the vaccination. You must take a vaccine. Then they will tell you how what the one you're doing in your bed and all kinds of your private life. And we're saying no. This is Linda, that's where we're from.
Even. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we're gonna walk this thing. It's going like this. We ain't taking no bully. All right? We ain't taking no vaccine. You hear what's that? Y'all know the rest. Everybody stay like for the other. Don't get the police so stressed. Let's just work for me. All right. We ain't taking no bully. No bully. No bully. No bully.
We ain't taking
No bully. We ain't taking no bully. No bully. We ain't taking no bullying. We taking no bully.
You're right.
All right. No bully, no bully. No vaccine. No bully, no vaccine.
We ain't taking. My body.
We ain't taking no vaccine.
There you go, my body. My body.
My choice.
My body. My body.
You like my
All right.
My choice. No vaccine.
We ain't taking.
No vaccine.
We ain't taking.
No bully.
We ain't taking.
No bully.
We ain't taking.
No vaccine.
My body.
My choice.
My body.
My choice. My choice. My choice.
My body.
My choice.
My body.
My choice.
We ain't taking.
No vaccine. My choice. My body. My choice. We are taking. No vaccine. We are taking. No vaccine. No vaccine in this body. We are taking. We are taking. We are taking. Dictatorship. 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 We are taking. We are taking. No vaccine. No vaccine. No vaccine. No vaccine. No vaccine. No vaccine. My choice. My choice. My choice. No vaccine. No vaccine. No vaccine. My choice.
My body.
My choice.
My body.
My choice.
We ain't taking.
No bully.
We ain't taking.
No bully.
Live from Linden, folks.
folks, as we continue, we see what is happening here in Linden.
Stop the discrimination.
And we want to join, we want to bring in, as we continue to monitor what's happening here in Linden. This is at the Square of the Revolution.
Our choice. Our choice. Our choice. Our choice. Consent free. Consent free. Consent
must go? Who 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 must go?
Randy, if you can hear me, we
Yes,
are
we can.
outside at the Square of the Revolution, and I have MP Coretta McDonald who will be speaking with us, and I have one of our teachers here with me, but I'll let the teacher go first before Miss McDonald.
Great. Go ahead. Go ahead, MP. Go ahead.
Elizabeth, tell me why you're out here.
Well, basically, Miss Natasha, it is not that you're against vaccination, you're against the process in which it's being administered. You're against the fact that you're being bullied to take vaccination. You know, as a teacher, I worked throughout the COVID period. I worked with my 6 formers and I carried them to exam last year and I did it this year. And we didn't have any issues. And now in order for me to go into school to get a salary that I want to work for, that I have been working for, I have to get a vaccination card. That is unfair to teachers. That is bullyism. That is dictatorship. In this country now, when you talk the truth, you are being victimized in so many ways. And listen to me, I will stand up. I will tell the world, I choose to take. One second.
Go on, the camera.
Yes, I choose to take the vaccine because I believe as a right, that was my right. But I don't believe that you should bully people to do it. I really don't believe you should bully people to do it. And then when you're gonna disrespect teachers, we have been working assiduously to keep the nation children above board, and you're gonna tell me this is what you're gonna do to teachers? Tell them without a vaccination card, we cannot, or we gotta go and take a PCR test where we gotta spend our own money. That is wrong, Natasha. That is wrong, and I'm saying it loud and I'm saying it clear. I don't care. It has nothing to do with political affiliation. It has everything to do with people's choices and the right. You cannot mandate to tell me what I should do with my thing, with my body, what I should put in my body, what I shouldn't put in my body. You cannot do that. That is wrong. And you can't hold a hammer over our head. You are bullying us. You are telling us that if we don't take this vaccination, we cannot eat, we cannot drink, we cannot move. Tell me what if that is not dictatorship.
That is a knee on your neck.
Yes,
that is a knee on your neck.
My neck.
Yes.
And it's a knee on the Guyanese people's neck. And you cannot. Barbados, they're against it. Jamaica, they're against it. They're encouraging people, take the vaccine because it's going to save life. That is what they're doing. But instead of encouraging, instead of cajoling, instead of talking, instead of having conversation with your people, you are bullying, you are telling teachers, we, the people who mold this nation, that we must not come to work unless we have a vaccination card. Man, the devil is a liar, man. The devil is a liar.
The PPP government is a liar.
I will be victimized. But listen to me, I prefer to die free than live a slave.
Excellent, Randy, that's a teacher at one of our senior secondary schools in Georgetown. Teachers, if you hear Elizabeth, you are encouraged to come out because one of you out here, and the leader for you is out here, MP McDonald, General Secretary of the Ghana Teachers Union. Talk to me.
Natasha, like everything else, we have been encouraging our supporters to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
But we cannot condone, and we will not condone, forced vaccination. We cannot condone that, and we will not condone forced vaccination.
Yeah.
We talk about COVID, and don't forget, it was the PPP who said there was no COVID.
Yeah.
How all of a sudden you're having COVID now and then you're having forced vaccination? I want to say to us that injustice anywhere is a threat to freedom and justice everywhere else. We have seen the discrimination being meted out against our people. And you know what is most sad? An event we witnessed yesterday, where staff from the Ministry of Education were taken from their offices by police ranks.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, as a teacher, if we see that happening at Central Ministry, then we have to start gearing our minds for what is going to happen in schools. But let me tell you something. Any policeman turning up at a school to remove teachers, the police officers will teach the children in the school, because our teachers will not stand and allow police officers to come and escort our teachers out of schools. This is ridiculous. This is some of the most inhumane actions that I'm seeing. But you know what? It's not strange. It's the PPP all over again. They have not changed. But you know what? Let me say that the Guyanese people will remember these days. The Guyanese people will remember these events. The husbands and the wives and the children of those staff members that were removed from the ministry yesterday with police officers. They will remember that. They will mark them down for that. And I'm saying loud and clear, no to mandatory vaccine. You know what? We saw Mia Merkley hitting on the streets, hitting off the steam during the last 5 months when we had those 5 months of the recount. But you know what? She is sensible and she's a respectable leader, because we have seen her operating in her country.
In her country.
Where she had consultation
with her people.
And then they arrived at a decision that there will be no mandatory vaccines. I'm hoping that the clown who said that our people are silly, and I can't even remember the exact word that he said about our people. They are, what was the word? I can't even remember the word. In other words, that our people are stupid.
What he said was
to know.
Mentally retarded.
But some of those same people voted for your party. Those are the same people who you're calling stupid today, who you want to govern. And stupid people, when you deem people as stupid, they can do stupid things. I just want you to remember that. Stupid people can do stupid things. That's all I have to say.
Randy, that's MP McDonald. She's very emotional there this morning. And listen, our exercise out at Puppy Fair is growing. I want you to know that people are enraged. They are coming out in their numbers, and their message is clear. The PPP must go. Enough is enough. And we are going to stay here, Randy, and bring some more updates for you as we go on.
Thank you. Just stay tuned. We're going back to Linden now, but stay on. Thank you.
Region 10, residents of Region 10, residents of Region number 10. We there. Right here. Facing the riverside. Good. That side. Can you go over that side, please? And face the Linden Monument. The Linden Martyrs Monument, please. Thank you for your discipline so far. Thank you for your discipline. Thank you for your unity, Linden. Region 10. Thank you for coming out. Please, let us face the podium. We see we have a lot of media representatives here. We have members of parliament, community leaders, religious leaders, community activists. This is a demonstration of a people.
You're listening to the voice of MP Jeremy Figueroa trying to get the crowd together for that mini rally that we'll have there. Let's listen in.
Gentlemen, let us maintain the discipline. Let us maintain the unity, because this struggle cannot be distracted. No one should distract us from our mission as a people of this community. We are representing the people of Region 10.
So as we're joined now by
we are
Christopher Jones.
representing all the people of Guyana who is watching us live. A lot of people are supporting us. So we want to thank them even though they
talking with German.
Right. So we're still in Linden. We're still in Linden. We're still in Linden, folks.
Let me recognize the man in the ring, Mr. Sheriff Duncan, MP, all the way from Georgetown to lend his support. This is not a political activity. This is a people's struggle. And all of us are involved. And that is why I said it is a political collaboration with the ministry's collaboration with the people of Guyana. Because all of us will be affected if government is allowed to have a dictatorial position on our lives. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for
as the people get ready there in Linden for that sort of rally that they're going to be having. We'll be joined now by Christopher Jones, who is on the Square of the Revolution. I think Chris is ready. Is Chris ready? Is Chris ready there? Right, we're going to be joined now by what our folks there at the Square of the Revolution. Good day, folks on the Square, Andrew and Chris. We are live at the Square of the Revolution, folks. Again, we're sitting in between Linden and Georgetown so you can get an idea of what is happening.
All right, so Randy, from Linden, we want to show you a bit of what's happening here at the Square of the Revolution. Now, if the camera could just cast over that side, you can literally see hundreds of people that came out this morning. Most of it happens to be members of the teaching service, some teachers, you have nurses, we saw some residents in various parts of the East Bank and the East Coast of Emara, and of course in Georgetown. Now, of course, like what is happening in Linden, the folks here too as well are adding their voices to no to mandatory vaccination. The folks have been out here since 9 o'clock this morning, and even in the blazing sun, you see the numbers continue to increase. Even if the camera can pan a bit back of the Square of the Revolution under the trees there, because of the weather how it's hot here, a lot of persons who are actually sitting out there. But what they do, they have like a rotation system of which persons will come, join the protest line, do their walk around, and then go out to the sun so they can refresh themselves and come back again. We see the president of the Minibus Association. There are several buses that actually have taken strike action too as well. And if the camera can just pan over that way, you will see the buses in that corner. So those buses have actually gone tools because you know the same mandatory vaccination will apply to them as well, and they too have taken protest action. We have Mr. Ian Andrews, who is the president of the Bus Association, and as I mentioned, several of his members, the bus drivers and conductors, are also out here. If the camera can pan back in this direction, you can see this is one of the settings that we spoke about. This is the walk in which persons will join the protest march every now and again, spend about 10 or 15 minutes in the blazing sun, shout their legitimate discontent, shout no to mandatory vaccination, and then after that, it's a rotation between how the persons will join the protest line. All of this had started at about 9:30 this morning, and it has been consistent. The numbers continue to increase here on the Square of the Revolution, and of course, you see solidarity and support for what is happening by those passers-by, the minibuses, the cars, and so forth. They will pass and they will honk their horns, and some persons may show a thumbs up in support of what is happening here. We know a lot of persons, particularly in the public service sector, who would want to be out here on a picket line, but fear of threats and intimidation, as we seen happen yesterday at the Ministry of Education building on Brick Dam, of which the minister called the Ghana police force, and the police force actually went floor by floor, office by office, asking staff members of the Ministry of Education to produce their vaccination cards. And those persons who could not produce a vaccination card were escorted by police, unprecedented. It's never, I can't recall in recent history in Guyana, the last PPP administration or even the PNC administration, of which the Guyana police force was called in by a minister, and staff members of the Ministry of Education have been escorted out of the building by police presence, some with even handcuffed and taken out of the building and locked out. It is unprecedented. It's never happened in Guyana's history. What PPP is known for creating history. So essentially with that, you have other staff members of other ministries and government agencies who are not at work today because they have not taken the vaccine. They are fearful of being present out here because of further intimidation and threats of losing their job. But as I said before, the solidarity and support for what is happening is tremendous, and the numbers on the Square of the Revolution continues to grow as the minute goes by.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chris, reporting there from the Square of the Revolution. We're going to go back to Linden now, folks, as we switch between what is happening, between what's happening there, the Square of the Revolution. But we're going to go back to Linden and bring to you what is happening there in Linden. Let's join MP Figuera, who is in Linden, speaking to the crowd as we speak.
Entrepreneurs, their livelihoods are being threatened because of the government's dictatorial position. Accept that. So, ladies and gentlemen, this entire activity here, this march, this unity march, it was sparked by one man who decided, as a resident of this community, as a citizen of this country, that what the government is doing is wrong. And because of one man's action, we have hundreds of people out here who would have joined the cause because it is a just cause. And all of us are infected. All of us are affected. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of community leaders, community activists who are going to come to this platform to make a contribution. And I am saying to all of us, let us remain disciplined. Let us understand the objective of this movement. It is in defense of our rights. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the man who's the catalyst to this movement, who sparked the flame of consciousness in all of us to stand as a united people, to awaken the consciousness in us as people, to stand and defend our rights. So, ladies and gentlemen, join with me as we welcome Apostle London, Nigel London, to the floor.
Thank you so much, MP Figuera. Thanks to all of you. Good morning, greetings, and I'm certainly overjoyed to see this day. I don't need umbrella. Sun is good for me. Sun gives me vitamin D and it's good for COVID. It's our body. Our body. We have an opportunity today as a people in Region 10, and I believe across the nation, because I saw earlier that the people gathered at the Square of the Revolution as well. We have an opportunity to change the course of this nation, in which I have lived to see a few individuals having the mind that they have power to control all of us as a people. We cannot afford to allow ourselves to sink to a place in which we lose our ability to speak and we lose our ability to stand. As a community, as a region, as a nation, this position I've taken as an individual came about because I recognize that there are certain very critical entities in this nation and individuals who, because of one decision, were being severely affected. those persons I speak to are the people like the police officers, the nurses, the doctors, the military, the small man in the street. And I realize that even those who dear to my heart, like those pensioners and others, were all put under one umbrella to be treated the same way, which is with disrespect and dishonor. For that reason, I have taken a personal stance that this should not be the nature of our country. This should not be what Guyana is known for. Guyana must arise and be a united nation in the context that we have the right to disagree, we have the right to argue, we may have the right to fight sometimes, but we never have the right to reduce each other to being less than human beings. And that is what this is all about. We have a right, according to international law, to determine what enters our body. And I don't want to misquote the law, because this order that was issued is based or deemed to be something that's legal. Hence, the police can enforce it. But I would like to submit to you that if we're being asked to adhere to an order that they want to deem legal, then those who make the order must also abide by what is legal, which is law. And if there are international laws that govern how you treat people and their bodies, every nation that signed on to it must respect it. The international law doesn't bow to somebody's opinion. I read for you, first of all, the United Nations International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, Article 7. No one shall be subjected to cruel, inhuman, disregard, or degrading treatment, punishment in particular. No one should be subjected without his free consent to a medical or scientific experiment. That's international law. The fact that they told us that they're not sure, Bill Gates said it, about how the vaccines will work is an experiment. The fact that Pfizer said that they don't have any long-term information to give you today about how you can be affected, it's an experiment. The fact that the World Health Organization said that nations across the world, as they vaccinate individuals, you must collect data from the person. How do they feel? What reactions they have? And store that information, provide it to them so they can have an idea about the effectiveness of the vaccine. That is called an experiment. And the law says that none of us is to be subjected to it. We should not lose our jobs because of it. We should not lose our ability to earn money because of it. And more importantly, we should not lose our freedom because of it. It's our bodies. It's our bodies. Next, the Convention on Human Rights and Biomedicine. Article 5 states, as an intervention in the health field, an intervention in the health field may only be carried out after the person concerned has given free and informed consent to it. We have the right to consent as to whether we want something or not. I stand here today to inform you, though, that I am not, and I've never been against vaccination. Though I see some persons in the crowd who are against it, it's your right to be against it because it's your right to say how you feel. I've never been against it. I am against forcing people to do it and taking away your livelihood from you if you don't do it. We haven't lost the right to be human beings. We are nobody's slaves. We are nobody's subjects. This is not an ethnic occasion. This is a people occasion, where persons of every ethnicity is affected by a decision. And it has to be reversed because we do not stand for it. I say further to you, my people, that it seems as if many individuals in our society have lost the courage to stand and the courage to be men with chutzpah. Can't say the word because a lot of news isn't here. Men with testicular fortitude. They've lost the ability to put people above money. To put people above what they think is best in terms of their finances. But I believe that based on what I'm seeing here today, This is the continuation of the restoration of power. I see young men, I see old men, I see persons of all ethnicities standing here because we understand this is not about a race divided, it's about a people, a human race who've been trampled upon. As we stand in Linden, we stand for those in Berbice. We stand for those in the bushes where they can't come out today. We stand for those in Essequibo, but we stand for those across the Caribbean who are being subjected to this order that forces individuals to make a choice between if you eat or if you put something in your body that you can't get out. I say further to you, my brothers and my sisters, that as a people, I've discovered that in this climate of ours today, even some politicians don't have the courage to come and talk. And that is unhealthy for a nation that wants to build in terms of unity. But I have understood that if people can get together beyond politics, we can get together for a cause of this nature, the tide might turn. And the people of Guyana will begin to move Guyana. It will be a people's movement moving a nation forward, where we defend the right of each other, though we don't have to be in the same political party. We don't have to be in the same faith. We don't have to have the same religion, but we have the same value as a human being. We are people who deserve to be respected. Police officers are people who deserve to be respected. Soldiers are people who deserve to be respected. Let me say further to us, now, the fact that leaders in the community can get together with one understanding that this is about the people, this is important. Because for Linden and Region 10 to unite and to blossom into a region of strength restored to us and respect restored to us, we must have community leaders who understand it's not about I, it's about us, it's about the people, it's about our children. I am seeing things that are concerning to me regarding vaccination. There is no medicine in the world that should cause a nation to be divided because of it. There's no medicine in the world that when it's given to you, you are told that you cannot sue anybody, you can't hold anybody accountable if you die, and nobody's prepared in Guyana at the moment to pay you or your family if something happens to you. That should not produce the kind of division that we're seeing here today. Guyana deserves to be free of any behavior that causes us to suffer like this. I know that they say tomorrow begins the day where nurses and other people may be locked out. But I have hope that the president may view this, that the minister of health may view this, and they can reconsider. Even the minister of education can view this and consider that the teachers who served faithfully, the nurses who served faithfully, the taxi drivers who served, the police officers, the frontline workers who served faithfully deserve to be respected, deserve to have human regard. And we are unprepared to roll over in fear. We are prepared to stand peacefully, but with courage and with strength. I said to you, my fellow Londoners and those of Region 10, those out of the region as well, that there are persons who hope that this meeting, this discussion, disintegrates into chaos. But I see a different breed of people on the road today who understand that we don't fight the police, we fight for the police because they're a part of our issue. They are a part of the problem, whereby they feel what we feel, but they can't stand where we stand. The army feel what we feel, but they can't stand where we stand. I stand for those who can't stand for themselves. I defend the cause of those who can defend their cause by themselves. Guyana has to see a new day. Nobody could inject me with anything, or my children with anything that I don't give consent to. If you want to take away the food I eat, I have soil in my yard. And if I have land around me, I could always eat. I have water by the river. It's called fresh water. I could boil it and drink it. And I know my Father Yahweh could send rain for me to drink rainwater. You can't make me starve to accept what you say. As a nation of people, we must unite to understand that the cause is greater than your pocket. This is your humanity. We refuse for money to threaten us. We shall not suffer, isn't that what you say? We shall never beg for bread. I say publicly with much passion, bad minders suffer, wicked minders suffer, evil hearted suffer, weak heart would suffer, but the righteous could never be forsaken. We stand for a righteous cause. Today, I stand for my daughter, who will be told that she can't go to school because I don't know where Premanik Chan stands in this. One time you can't go, the next time you could go. But my daughter shall not be vaccinated. That's not an adult I talk about, that's my child. My child shall not be vaccinated. And since you want to throw it out there as an insult, now, well, if you want your child to be vaccinated, teach them at home, thank you. I'm a trained grade 1, class 1 teacher. I'm a puku man here. And I'm from a family of teachers. So if you want to push us down the road, I shall lend my service to teach the children of Linden and Guyana. I go online, and online soon. I will come out of retirement and show you that we could survive beyond any dictatorship. Catch yourself, David, catch yourself. You don't go like that here. We are better than that. Don't drag yourself into forcing people because you can't have your way. We are better than that. We are bigger than that. And I have hope that tonight there'll be probably some statement. I have hope with sense and value. I close with what inspires me. A part of our national anthem. And this is the beginning of what it is. Great land of Guyana. Diverse or different though our strains. We are born of the sacrifices. I quote a different part here. We're born of their sacrifice. The forefather sacrifice. We're born out of it. We heirs of their pain. The indentured servants, we are heirs of their pain. The slaves, we are heirs of their pain. And ours is the glory their eyes did not see. All right. One land of 6 people, united, united, united. That's what we're about. United, united, and we are free. We stand because there are those in history who never saw this. There are those today who look and say, well, only 1 set of people will come. Too bad. We have a mixture of people because we understand that we have a collective issue. Guyana, we shall be united. We shall be free. We shall be free of anyone and anything that seeks to divide us as a people. My brothers and my sisters, courage is reserved for those who understand the value of life itself. If you can't value life, you'll always be scared of people. Value your children. Value your grandmother who can't go to NIS and get what she wants. Value those who told they can't see their mothers in hospital because they can't get a vaccine or don't want it. I have hope. I'm grateful for every leader who was never asked by me to stand with me. I'm grateful for all of you who were never asked by me to stand with me. And that is what the new Guyana would look like. People who stand independently, knowing that if it bothers me, I can stand beside my enemy because it bothers us. That's called maturity. That's called strength. That's called wisdom. This is not anything political in terms of party. This is people. This is humanity. This is human rights. These are our rights. And let me say to those who believe they own Guyana but they're not Guyanese, you ambassadors, you who are commissioners and high commissioners, for as long as you are on Guyana soil, you would never own and rule Guyanese people. We shall not return to slavery. If you tell politicians to take it, you don't control me. I am not controlled by massa. And I refuse to be the subject of any international decision that is spoken to politicians and they have to do what they're told. We are a free people. We are a united people. And today marks the continuation of a fight, not a struggle. I don't struggle with anything. I stand and fight for what is rightfully mine. I stand with courage and I speak to those who don't want to hear me with passion and strength. Guyana, Linden, Region 10. In this information age we found ourselves, do not be sheep. Be wise. If anything is so good, why you have to force me to take it? If anything is so beneficial, please permit me to close with this. Why are we divided about it? If it is so safe, why are those who are fully vaccinated wearing masks? What are you scared of? I have a measles vaccine, and I'm not afraid of measles. I got a mum's shot. I ain't scared of mums. They give me tetanus. I feel they give me so many things I know the name after a while, because I was a baby. But what I do know is, I was never told to be afraid of that disease because I'm vaccinated from it. This is the first time I hear about something that requires a booster shot, like you some chicken in some pen or some little puppy somewhere. I don't want a booster from y'all. Booster is found in lemongrass. Booster is found in orange peel. Booster found in ginger. Booster found in some good root. Booster found in bush tea. That's my booster. Booster found in ginger, in turmeric. Since you have booster. Booster is found in the sunlight that I stand under. I don't want your booster, because you're coming to booster. Booster next. I don't want a booster from you. We know how to eat. We know how to live. We know how to survive. Region 10 is named the region with the lowest vaccination rate. But we live in though. But we breathe in though. But we eat in though. So just in case they want to get mad and say that they are going to lock us in the region, to live in the region, and we can't move, lock us in them, because we will survive as a region. We are able to survive and live, not survive, and thrive in a region. There are about 40 to 50,000 of us in the region. We can't take care of ourselves. Anguilla has 12,000 population of 15,000. Our whole country named Anguilla only got 15,000 people on it. We got 40 to 50,000. We could make it. We can make it. We are needed. We are valuable. We are worth our while in this nation. I thank you. And I say to you that if you're going to keep changing your story about the vaccine, I don't want it. It began with the vaccine being able to prevent COVID infection. It changed to the vaccine being able to keep me out of hospital if I get infected. Then it became I wouldn't die if I get it. Then it became, it's just an immune system booster. Then now it became a booster that needs a booster. Your story changing too often. I don't want it. Can I speak like a Guyanese for real now? Me no want them. Can I speak like my brother from quarantine? Sometimes I want to talk straight to you. Me no want them. Me no want them. You keep it. Your story change too often. It's our bodies. It's our bodies. It's our bodies. No mandatory. No mandatory. No mandatory.
Folks, we are listening
It's
to
our bodies. It's our bodies.
Pastor London from
No
Linden.
mandatory. No mandatory. It's our bodies.
As the crowd we hear what is happening here in Linden, folks.
We don't want this. Don't say this. It's not English class. We want this. You ready for me? Guyana resist. Guyana resist. Guyana resist. Guyana resist. Region 10 resist. Region 10 resist. No mandatory. No mandatory. No mandatory. Guyana resist. Guyana resist. I thank you.
Right. That is what is happening here in Linden, folks, as we continue to bring you you know, the sights and the sounds from all around. Let's jump back over to what is happening there in Georgetown at the Coffee Square as we get some images and sound from what is happening there.
My dear, myself and other members of parliament are out here to say to the installed government that we will not continue to be subjected to bullying. What we have seen is that they have moved from a passive position to a very solid position of bullying people. And it's not only with the vaccination they have made it mandatory. They have moved now to implement. So if you don't vaccinate, what happens to you? Right? I am out here particularly today because I support my colleagues. You would have known that I've worked a number of years of education. And almost all of them called me yesterday when they were escorted out of the building with police. That has never happened. I have worked with at least 4 ministers of education, and Priya can prove to be the worst of them. You understand? We have never had any instance where a police had to come and escort an employee for not complying with the rules in the workplace. We've never had that. Yesterday we saw that. And you know what? She has heard not only those people, she has heard the families of those persons. And because we have a close relationship, they're reaching out and they're asking, Miss Lewis, what can we do now? We're out of a job. We are fearful. We are seeing people taking the vaccine and dying. And so that's the level of fear in their mind. You either take the vaccine and die, or you get put out from your workplace. Which one is the better of the evils? Now, people should never have to live with that level of fear in this country. All of that is happening because the installed government, they do not care about the people. And so we're out here to say to them, enough is enough. We have been observing, we know what you're doing, and we will take action. Because there is only so much you can sit back and allow to happen. And the people will come out because they're being hurt. And today, we come out in solidarity with all of the workers. There are some people out there who are specifically against mandatory vaccination. There are some people, if you notice, you go around in the crowd, you will see people in uniform. They have left their place of work and they're out here to say to the government that what you're doing is wrong. You know, you can't come and tell me that if I don't want to be vaccinated and I don't want my child to be vaccinated, I just let us stay home and I can teach them. Then how do you explain the function of government? The function of government is to provide healthcare and educational service, among other things. Listen, it's too much. And when I begin to speak on issues, it gets emotional. But how much more can we take? The number, you notice this crowd out here. You notice what's happening in Linden. It's growing because the people have had enough, and enough is enough. How much more? Tomorrow morning, at the end of the month, when their pay slip is affected, who is looking at that? Who is going to buy food for their children? All of those people at 21 that they took out yesterday, all of them are parents. Some of them single parents. I can tell you because I know them. 2 of them got children with disability. I mean, how much more can you do to our people? Are we going to sit down and take it? My dear, I honestly believe, I'm not going to come and tell you what the problem is without the solution. If we have had a proper education program to roll out that vaccination program that they have, the outcome would have been different. The outcome. There are a number of our young people population is growing. You can't be putting your education program on NCN and our young people will watch it. You have to go to the creative arts. You got to meet them with the language that they understand. You have to meet the people where they are through whatever means. You have to do that. And I believe if the education program was across the board, and we would have catered for the different stakeholders, we might have been in a better position with the vaccination. I want to make it clear that the opposition support vaccination. We are against forced vaccination. Mandatory vaccination is a no-no. And I believe that if you meet the people and you talk to them and you give them access to authentic information, the outcome will be different. Until that is done, we're out here.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
I gotta use my voice on behalf of Private who lost her voice and Miss McDonald who equally lost her voice. So essentially, we are about to wind down at about 1 o'clock.
We are
So we have all of the media persons who are present
Let's
now.
head back to Linden. Let's head back to Linden now and see what is happening there. I see MP Figuera. Again, we're going to have analysis and breakdown of all that has happened as we speak to some of our correspondents. But you're heading back to Linden now.
Thank you, MC. In the most holy name of God, the beneficent, the merciful, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Greetings to you all, my people. Indeed, this is a unity march. And why did this end up as a unity march? It's because we are disunited. But let me tell you, first of all, where we were disunited before forced vaccine came. Because today we're not divided racially so much as we are divided vaccine, forced vaccine, and religion. But we're divided people. We have one home with 7 persons, one a Rasta, one a Muslim, one a Christian, one a Buddhist. We're so divided as a people. In Linden, we're PNC, PPP, AFC, you name it. But this vaccine situation, forced vaccine situation, has forced us even further in division. Even though, beloved brothers and sisters, there are those in the government that is saying no to vaccine and no to forced vaccine. You see what I said? They're saying no to vaccine in government and no to forced vaccine, but they stay silent. There are those that in the opposition that are saying no to vaccine and no to forced vaccine, but they stay silent. There are many pastors that are saying no to vaccine and no to forced vaccine, but they're staying silent. There are many doctors that are saying no to vaccine and no to forced vaccine, but they're staying silent. There are many lawyers that could represent us based on what the United Nations said and based on what the World Court said.
So let us just leave this in a bit. Let's go to what is happening in Georgetown as we wrap up there at the Square Revolution.
Come on the road. But you know where they come from because they ain't come from your house. So be careful.
We're going to come back to Linden in just a bit, but let's see what's happening there at the Square Revolution. Let's interchange. We have so many things happening, folks, but let's just go here.
And nothing that is happening here is happening by accident. And any of the persons who are organizing this event are persons who've been in the trenches for a number of years. I myself can tell you that as of September next month will mark 23 years since I've been involved in activities like this. So I know what to do, when to do. So we ask you to continue to be disciplined, be focused as we continue to demonstrate. So get your placards, the media houses are here, and we will continue along the square of the revolution, comrades. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. So that's what's happening there at the Square of the Revolution. Let's go back to Linden. I believe we have Sharma Solomon on the microphone there in Linden.
I am anti. Say it again. Let that resonate. I am not anti-vaccine. I am anti-corrupt vaccine. And these vaccines are made by those who never loved us. These vaccines are made by our open enemy for 400 years of our freedom, justice, and equality. How all of a sudden you're interested in my well-being? Why there is no force for jobs in Linden? Why there is no force for roads being done in Linden? Why there is no force for an upliftment of the Mackenzie Hospital? Why there is no force so that we can live life a little easier?
Why there's no force for a raise in salary?
All right.
All of these things are not taken into consideration. But what you're doing, you're forcing a vaccine on us that you yourself don't even know what's in the vial. I asked the minister, do you know what's in the vial? And he tried to tell me that Food and Drug Administration knows what's in the vial, and that isn't true. Because Food and Drug does not have the ability to analyze what's in that vial. They are relying on America, Canada, and Britain. And this is the question. Would you trust those who never treat you right to give you the right vaccines? No. Brothers and sisters, I say to you, we don't have to be uniform. Everybody here don't have to be a Christian. Everybody don't have to be a Muslim. Everybody don't have to be from the same party. That is called uniformity. Uniformity is when everybody wears the same color clothes. Everybody speaks the same language. But unity is when we stand for one cause. We all may use different strategies to have the same goal, to achieve the same goal. My sister over here might use a formula of 9 and 1. The other one might use a formula of 8 and 2. The mother brother over here might use a formula of 7 and 3. The mathematicians know where I'm getting at. The common denominator is 10. The common denominator here is no force vaccine. Brothers and sisters, we all have to make a decision. The Bible says that for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. We will do the right thing.
Right, folks, as you join us, let me just apologize. It is not Sharma Solomon speaking right now. It is Jafar Mohammed. For those persons who are paying attention, thank you very much for that correction. Yes, sorry about that. Let's continue to listen in. It is not Sharma, but it is Mr. Mohammed.
The alarming rates of COVID positive in Linden.
All right.
Talk to me. Where are the alarming rates? It is telling me that my people are eating right. So continue to eat right. Continue to treat yourself right. This body is yours. What we eat keeps us here, and what we eat takes us away. I thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
Right, folks.
Make some noise for Brother Jafar.
Jafar Mohammed here.
All right. You think the government?
To you his words again. We're paying attention to what is happening. If we go to what is happening there at the Square of the Revolution, folks, we're interchanging between Linden and Georgetown right now. As you see, Square of the Revolution, persons are still out there marching. The mini rally continues in Linden. The people still continue out there at the Square of the Revolution as we watch what is happening here with the march and protest against forced vaccination, right? Of course, there are a number of other issues that are mixed up into this protest action today. Of course, the reopening of schools being an issue of great contention. The reopening of schools being an issue of great contention also. As we return to Linden. Before we go back to Linden, let me just ensure that we have, yes, we still have the feed with Linden. Let me just bring in Nicole Telford as we analyze and unpack the things that we would have heard so far. Of course, we heard from Linden. We heard Pastor London. Apostle London there speaking very passionately and saying a number of things that got the crowd really stirring, and people seem to like the message. It's interesting to see what's happening there on the ground in Linden, right? As we continue, folks,
the lesson of unity.
Right.
Let's go back to Linden. Is teaching us unity. I know the Demerara River has its source further up, but the source of the Demerara River cannot give it all of this water that we call volume. Some of the water has to come from the creeks.
Speaking right now in Linden, of course, is Cleveland Thomas. No stranger to the public there in Linden. Let's listen in.
From the gutters. But all of them, they come together to form one Demerara River. The river does not discriminate. The river does not say to the creek water, I don't want you here. The river does not say to the gutter water, I don't want you here. The river never says to the water that comes from the toilet cistern, I don't want you here. The river doesn't say, I don't want the soap water coming in. The river says, I will collect all of you, and when I'm done with you, you can be purified so that others can use you as drinking water. This is what this march is all about. Are people coming together as one. I have zero tolerance for racism. And I need us to understand that when my Heavenly Father made us, He made us as one race. There is just one race on the planet. It's called the human race. And we have what we call various ethnic groups. But the reality is this, I want to listen carefully, people. The reality is this when it comes to unity. I don't care. I don't care whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're brown, or whether you're bleached. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, if we cut each other, all of us will bleed red. All of us bleed red. All of us bleed red. So then, as a people, we have to stop having politicians from both sides of the aisle and in the middle, fooling us and putting us against each other. The last time I checked, if you are born in the cooperative Republic of Guyana, you are Guyanese. If you're born in the Republic of Guyana, you are Guyanese. And I need Guyanese to understand, for too long we've allowed ourselves to be taken on a ride by people who don't care about us. Unity is the quality or a state of oneness. Now let me show you what oneness does. The ant is a weak species. However, the ant is able to build a kingdom. How does the ant build a kingdom? It's because of their unity. Some of the ants are very small, some are a bit larger, and then you have the queen, she's the largest. And they specialize and they do what they have to do. How many of you farmers were ever invaded by the Akushi ants? We call them druggers. How many of you? Akushi ants. Now, when you examine the Akushi ants or the Akushi ants, you have some of them that are cutters. They go to the tree and they cut the tree. They cut the leaves off. Then you have another set that are draggers. They collect the leaves and take them in to the nest. And then there's those who tend to the nest, making sure that whatever goes on under there can sustain the life of their colony or their kingdom. What would happen in this Republic of Guyana if people who might be different in terms of skin tone, be it artificial or real, but they are different in terms of skin color, skin tone, texture of hair, voice tone, beauty, elegance, and handsomeness. If they should come together as one voice, just one voice we need. One voice. When the people were of the same language and the same speech, they started to build a tower in order to invade heaven. That's how powerful unity is. And our leaders in this republic know that once the people get together, they will become obsolete. We will have need for them. I need our people to understand this, that in unity there is great strength. In unity there is progress. In unity there is advancement and development. I heard my brother Nigel speak there, and I'm always happy to be around him, because I taught Nigel London too. I taught Nigel London's wife also. I taught Shama Solomon too. And my wife taught Figgy. So because my wife taught Figgy, I taught him. Because the two shall be one flesh.
Folks, we sorry about that. We have some difficulties there with our stream. But we are going to be joining the folks at the Square of the Revolution as we continue. I think we were off a bit there. Again, folks, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for being a part of the program as we continue. Let's rejoin our folks there at the Square of the Revolution. I don't know if they are ready, but we are ready. Andrew, what is happening there down at the Square of the Revolution? What is happening down there? I see a lot of people there. Can you hear us there? All right, so we just... Yeah.
Hi, Randy. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon again. We just lost a feed from Linden, so we are back at the Square of the Revolution. We were listening to Mr. Cleveland Thomas. We listened to Nigel London, and again, we're back here at the Square. We see people are still there. What is happening there at the Square?
All right. So as I mentioned before, the numbers are still here on the Square of the Revolution. What is noteworthy to mention is that the people who are out here have been here since 9 a.m. this morning. And yeah, I don't have to tell you about the brilliance of the sun. It is very hot and very humid, but despite that, the persons have hold their ground. You could see the lines stretching all the way down to the end of the Square of the Revolution. And then at back of that, there's another two line that had to be put together to take off the sheer number of people that are out here. As I mentioned, there are teachers, there are nurses, there are some members of the public servants who are out here lending their support. I see a lot of residents out of South Rumbelt and Sophia area are out here as well. And of course, they continue to vent their disgust, dissatisfaction with the forced mandatory vaccination that is being imposed upon them. As many of the persons said here, time and time again, is that they have no issue with vaccination, but it must be on an individual's choice. When he or she, or after he or she would have done their research and they would have satisfied themselves about the particular vaccine, they will go and get those vaccines. But to have the installed administration foist upon them a vaccination that is essentially an experimental drug. It is the same installed regime that have brought into this country the Sputnik V vaccine that as of today still has not been WHO approved. And the PPP have essentially injected that vaccine into the arms of thousands of Guyanese, knowing full well that the Sputnik V vaccine to date has not been approved by the World Health Organization. And more to that is the manner in which those vaccines, the Sputnik V vaccine, was procured. Because the PPP told all and sundry that the vaccines have been secured via Russia. And it was only via pressure from the opposition in the parliament that we learned that these vaccines essentially came through a shady third body via the Sheikh. The said Sheikh was in the country some months ago, and we were told by the PPP, as liared as they are, that the Sheikh came here to explore business opportunities and business ventures. It was only, as I said, by pressure from the opposition in parliament that we learned that the said Sheikh is the person who came and brokered a deal with the PPP and brought the Sputnik V vaccine into the country, of which the PPP paid times over the amount that the drug should actually be. And even despite all of that shady transaction with the PPP and the Sheikh and the Sputnik V vaccine, it is a vaccine that has been administered in the arms of thousands of Guyanese. And as we speak here today, the Sputnik V vaccine has still not been approved by the World Health Organization. And those are just some of the concerns that the residents or the people across the country has. Because you're dealing with the PPP, and the PPP is known for their shady transactions over the years. The PPP is known for their kickbacks with contracts and other arrangements that they will have. So there is a hesitancy on the part of Guyanese taking a vaccine that is being brought into this country by the PPP because of the PPP's nature. I mean, just for example, we see the scandal that is there as it relates to the COVID cash grant, the Because We Care cash grant, and now you have this scandal with the rice farmers cash grant. And it's the same thing. The PPP in every doing in every facet of society, there is some amount of corruption, some scandal that is a part. And of course, Guyanese are fearful because you're dealing with the PPP. And when it comes to the PPP and vaccines, mind you, a vaccine in your arm, you can't later decide that you will take it out. Once it is in your system, it is there permanently. Sputnik V vaccine, for example, is in the arms of thousands of Guyanese, and to date, it has not been approved by the World Health Organization.
Yeah, Chris, you know, we're following some of the comments by the persons looking on, and you know, persons are wondering, given what happened yesterday with the Ministry of Education and the minister's position, her rude position that I may add, you know, persons are wondering why isn't the crowd marching up Brick Dam and making their voices heard in front of the Ministry of Education, because their children are you know, are involved in this, you know. Is there any plan to move the procession up Brick Dam and let the minister hear your voices outside of her office?
All right, so as it stands here today, when speaking to the organizers on the ground, there is no plan today to move the crowd in any direction. The organizers have indicated that they are still working on that. They have a plan of which they are a bit reluctant, understandably so, to share with the crowd, because you don't know who is who amongst them in the crowd. But they have assured me that the protest will take several different stands, which includes moving from the Square of the Revolution and in other locations and other parts of the country. So it is a clear indication that the organizers are keen on what they intend to do and how they intend to do, and we just have to watch and see that play out. What they also said is they continue to call on all and sundry, because you have a lot of people, like for example on this live stream, who would be clicking like and love and so forth and indicating goodwill, but their physical presence is not on the ground. And most of the folks who are out here in the hot sun, they are calling on them to come out here, because you know the saying, when your neighbor house on fire, throw water on yours, because it will eventually come to you. And as the utterances of Priya Manikchan yesterday is a clear indication that very soon that fire will come to almost every household across this country, because she has said, unless the student population have taken the vaccine, they will not be allowed in the government schools. And I know thousands of people are reluctant to have the vaccine administered to their children because of some of the reasons I mentioned before.
Yeah.
But in a few days' time, that sort of mandatory will come on stream, of which those children will have to be vaccinated. And maybe then you would see parents then coming out, because their children will not be accepted in the school system.
All right, thank Chris. And let's just remind persons that the minister, the government has indicated that private schools are not exempt from these mandates. So, not because your children are in private schools, they will not have to be vaccinated. So this affects everybody. Let's continue to monitor what is happening there. Thank you very much, Chris and Andrew on the ground at the Square of the Revolution there. Let's head back to Linden, as Mr. Thomas is still speaking there. We established our connection with Linden, and let's bring that to you.
of the democracy. So because you are a democracy, I'm going to tell you what democracy says. Democracy says the voice of the people must be heard. The voice of the people must be heard from region 1 all the way to region 10. The voice of the people must be heard. I don't care whether your hair straight, kinky, trippy, wet, curly, step on, paste on, throw on, grab on, paint on. I don't care if it's an afro, whatever, locks, dreadlocks, whatever. Fake dread, fashion dread, bald head dread, whatever. The voice of the people must be heard. This is not an ordinary fight. We are up against people who want to crush us. But let me tell you something. There comes a time, and I'm closing with this. There comes a time after you would have crushed all the rocks, after you would have crushed all the rocks, and see whatever has been crushed. Two things will remain in the battle: the gold and the diamond. Linden, get ready. It's time for the gold and the diamond in Linden to emerge and be a beacon to all of this country. You need to remember, we are the initiators of everything that is good. Where did matrimony start, people? And who adopted it? The whole country. And there are many other things that started right. Coming out of this here, you will see the manifestation of gold and diamond coming up in human form and letting people know we dare to shine because we went through the mill. We dare to shine because we went through the fire. We dare to shine because we went through the hard times. I want to tell you people, tough times don't last, but tough people do. You just be tough, be resolute, be resolute. Stand firm. Don't give up. Don't give in. My body. My body. My body. My body. I want to turn to somebody and say to them, my body. My body. My body. My body. I thank you very much. And let's continue to fight this good fight because it ain't over yet.
As we continue to monitor what is happening around the country, folks, thank you very much for staying tuned. Remember, you can still share the live stream. Let me bring in Nicole Telford, who has been waiting to help me break down and unpack what has happened over this morning. Quite interesting, Nicole. Your thoughts on what we saw, on what we've been seeing this morning from Linden and Georgetown?
A clear and great representation from Linden and Georgetown, from all the speakers on what's the situation on the ground, how people are feeling.
Yeah. Go ahead. Are
you hearing me, Randy?
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you.
Yes, it's a clear representation of what's happening. Chris simply put it together, where he states about the happenings of the Ministry of Education. I like how you asked the question of whether they'll take it to the streets and in front of the Ministry of Education, because that's the place they really need to target, because that's the ministry that Priya Manik-Chan is targeting. You understand? She's head of the education sector, but she's targeting those teachers at the Ministry of Education and all those workers there. And it is unfair to impose mandatory vaccination on people without them having a choice to inform themselves or informed by government and the clarity as to the different types of vaccinations and what is the true relation with regards to Pfizer and Sputnik and AstraZeneca and all the others. So I think this morning's representations from, like I said, both Linden and Georgetown is excellent. One thing I want to bring to the attention of your viewers the mention by Barjack Dio of the mentally retarded quote. Mentally
Yes.
retarded. Randy?
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you. Go ahead.
Yes, mentally retarded. Can you imagine in 2021 a term that was not used since 2013? And this was brought to the attention of the world by the US. So I would expect to see some statement, well, rebuking or in any way calling out Jack Dion using mentally retarded. That statement or that term is not used worldwide anymore. Mental retardation. It is not used. They can go and Google it. So I wouldn't only expect to see responses from the usual suspects like the Freddie Kissoons and all the writers in Guyana Times, Guyana Chronicle, and all those other newspapers. I'd like to see a response from the ABC countries because mentally retarded is not used. And for him to use that, it shows how backward he is and how he isn't thinking straight. And the same craze that's going on with his administration or President Ali or installed President Ali administration. Mentally retarded is not used.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicole, for that. Nicole,
you're hearing me clearly, Randy.
You're breaking up a bit. You're breaking up a bit. But yes, we'll continue to break down what is happening around Guyana right now. Let's go back to Linden, and we'll bring you in after this presenter. We'll bring you in after this presenter. Let's head back to Linden. Right. So we're going to take what is happening there in Linden.
There are pertinent issues to be dealt with before you ask teachers to show forth a PCR. We were good to deliver at the nursery level. Kudos to our nursery teachers. Give yourself a round of applause. We were good to deliver at the primary level, especially our grade 6 teachers. Come on. You said they can't use the schools. They would have utilized their homes and turned them into schools. Come on. I watched teachers went beyond the call of duties, preparing for C6, preparing for the national grade 6. How is it now you're going to turn around and use us and ask us to produce a test for $25,000 when you know that the salary that we're given is so meager?
Wicked, man.
How is that possible? Somebody has to do the math. Let me take you down memory lane. This is not about politics. This is not about politics. Exactly 3 years ago, we were there and we were marching, and it wasn't this government that was in power. We were there standing up for our rights, and we will continue to stand for our rights as teachers. Teachers have a voice. Teachers will not be used. Teachers will not be used as guinea pigs in all of this. I am not against vaccine. I have my BCG. I have my polio, and we all do. It's not so. But we are uncertain of this particular vaccine. Let the truth be revealed about the vaccine. When you go, you explain to me at the hospital what kind of medication you're giving me. We are asking for a chance to know and understand everything about this vaccine before you put it on the inside of us. Come on. We are not sure about the fact. Drink some water. We saw people taking vaccines and, mouths are being licked with them. We are seeing people taking vaccines with hearts moving on them. What is it you are putting on the inside of us? We don't want to be robots. We don't want to be guinea pigs. We don't want to be lab rats. Come on. We need time to be educated. I am saying, and I'm asking the government, I am not against the government. I
I am not political in nature. This is not a political rally, but we are asking you, give us our choice. I'm not against those who would have taken the vaccine. Kudos to you, but give me my choice. This is my body. And I stand here with teachers, I stand here with Lyndon, and I say, those who are with us are more than those against us. And we're going to stand and we are going to rejoice. Teachers, if you are not comfortable, I am confused. So I can associate with you on this level of confusion.
Yes.
If you are not, that's why we're here, and we are here to make a statement.
Yes.
We are here not against vaccination in general. We understand that our children need polio vaccine, they need BCG, but we are uncertain about this particular vaccine. More, we're asking you to go back, kindly go back to the table, revisit your decision making, because if you don't, as the people of London, we will go back and we will revisit and we will strategize and come even stronger. In unity, there is strength. And I must thank all those who would have taken the time to be out here. Teachers, we hear you. We love you. We congratulate you on the task that you would have been doing. Lyndon, be strong. Be strong. Be strong. Be strong. Do not give up the fight. Thank you.
Give it up for the teacher. Give it up for Miss. Give it up for Miss. Without teachers, we would have no nurses. Without teachers, we would have no policemen, no soldiers, no public servants. So teachers are important. And we have a Minister of Education who does not understand the importance of our teachers. Teachers educate this nation. The minister don't even understand the difference between a preposition and a pronoun. I hear somebody in the crowd say she's a done stuck. This is the people making decision for us. So, Keisha, the Guided Teachers Union, all teachers of Region 10 will stand in unity and defend our rights. And we call on all PTAs, all parents with children in schools to stand with your teachers. I have been in this profession for 20 years and I understand the struggle. 2 budgets pass and teachers ain't get nothing. Nurses ain't get nothing. Nurses were dubbed heroes, frontline soldiers in the struggle. And today you're telling them they gotta go and pay $20,000 out of the meager salary every week. And they gotta go at your friend place to get the test. We are saying no. We will stand resolute as a community and defend our teachers and defend our nurses, because this struggle is the people's struggle and all of us are consumed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not about big name speakers. This is about people. And today I want to invite a brother who has been serving this community. He's well known as the plantain and cheese man. This struggle must respect everybody, every individual. We don't care what position you hold, because at the end of the day, all of us are going to be affected. So all of us must have a say. So help me welcome Brother Wally to the podium, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, MP big up. You know you will charge you for life. Listen, them people.
Respect and manners.
All of you. I's a hustler, right? And I get 4 kids. I get one of them going to the university soon, and I get the rest coming. And I don't think that they shouldn't be vaccinated.
That's right.
You understand? I get vaccine from youth, from
baby.
If you see vaccine, I still get the cards there. My mom preserved these cards for me. That when I get, you understand? So I could go, if I go any country, hey, you been, yes. But man, this one, man, you know what I mean? It's a trick. Some of we, they can't trick all the people. Listen, the people watch. I want to go back to work, you know. I work for a year. We're done 11 months. 1 more month for a year. I ain't hustle, but I get it. I left me country, go back. I want to left me country. I want to stay right here. And then the people watch here wake up. You understand? It's been struggle from 1960. Man, listen, you get serious shit. I didn't born them time, I born 77. But I was told and know about these things, and I understand all of we struggle. You know, planting man originate from right in this county, from right Chester. That's why I pray for me people anytime. I go down for me people. Linden, trust me, wake up, Jed. Well, I'm sure nobody, no youth in this town or in the old 10 region. Should them children go on with this thing, Paul? Who's the future? I'm not the future. I just planting man. I get worse of the planting man coming. Me want them man deal with nothing, so. So Linden, tell him when I wake up, Jed. Don't bother with this thing, you know.
We fight the fight.
We fighting.
Yeah.
I personally, my daughter, I proud of she done well for me in her education. She tell me, Dad, you know, we got. I said, why you do? I got to shift this girl out the country, but if she go out the country, she still got to take it. You understand? So I dealing with it right here. Right now, I dealing with it. And then the people, let me stand up. You've been through enough, Jed. And let me be strong and unite.
We are.
And then is the region 10 big up. All the
Big up planting of cheese, man. Everybody's voice is important, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Now, this struggle, as we indicated earlier, is not a Linden struggle. It is a region 10 struggle.
Yes.
We have brothers from Kokwani, Aichuni, Araima, Rockstone right here. And tonight, this afternoon, I want to invite the brother from Rockstone. I believe he is the two-show. Mr. Carter, please come to the podium. Give him a Linden welcome, a Region 10 welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'm also a product of Mr. Thomas. Integrated Science at Bishop's High School. And when we first encountered each other on the corridors, we nicknamed him the Terminator. He never passes me without giving me that kind reminder. So perhaps maybe I can share a few thoughts with you that this is not a matter for just Linden, but the outlying communities as well.
Yes.
Every indigenous community is partaking of the pressures. I've had two shows call me saying we can't enter forestry unless we demonstrate that we have this inoculation. Now let me say, as the first disclaimer here, I am not against persons who want to have one vaccine, two vaccines, boosters, whatever. That's your personal choice.
Exactly.
And that's your individual choice. And I applaud you for that effort. But if you're going to say that every single person has to have it, or else we've got a problem. And so the indigenous communities are also being affected. There are some persons there that have had their vaccines, and that's fine. And it's okay. But let me quote from you. The Bible says, no one is to control another person's mind.
That's right.
To judge for one another, to prescribe his duty. God gives every soul freedom to think, and we must follow our own what? Conviction. Choice is imperative. Let everyone be persuaded in his own what? In his own mind. So not because you say it is the duty of government to persuade and to convince, yes, but it's also my duty to consider and to critically analyze and think and make a decision for what is best for what? For me.
Yes.
All men are created equal. They're given by the Creator certain natural rights. The rights, human rights, rights of liberty, the pursuit of a job. Now, if you're telling me that I cannot enter a building or I cannot teach, and you're taking away my bread, You're taking away my ability to pay my rent and my bills. And I know some of you are really, really thinking about that aspect of life.
Yes.
And it's a trying situation, but we've got to make a stand, an intelligent stand. Not only you here, but every indigenous person through the length and breadth of Guyana.
Yes.
In Title 154 of the Constitution of Guyana, it says to which Guyana is a signatory that to these treaties that they are special rights, and we ought to also uplift and hear those rights by voice, by pen, and by vote if there's a referendum.
All right.
Recently, I was called out by a certain minister. I'm not going to say what his name was. He met me on the street and he asked me if I was particularly inoculated. And I, in response to him, didn't want to be rude and say, that's none of your business. Because no one calls me and asks me if I have HIV.
All right.
No one asks me if I have cancer, if I have diabetes, or if I'm obese.
All right.
If I had a hepatitis A or B shot. No. They're asking me like if there is one thing only or one vaccine only on the entire planet. So my response is that I was critically thinking about it. Learned gentleman went on the national television to say that he spoke to Show of Rockstone, and he clearly demonstrated that he should have already had it. Like if he knew what I've had or hadn't had.
Man, your house, my brother.
Certain things are for you and your God. Certain things are for you and your wife. And certain things are for you and you alone.
That's right.
It's our bodies
and
our choice. The indigenous mothers have called me and said, what are we to do?
Wow.
Yesterday, I was in Georgetown talking to a police officer from Brickdam. She said, I am not taking it, but they're telling me that they will transfer me or they'll not pay me for the month. I heard that the nurses and the teachers are having to face the same fate. What we must do is stand together, exclusive or inclusive of what man may do with us, or man may do to us. We know that if we serve a living God, that he is able to what? Keep us though the heavens fall.
Yes.
Come on there, man.
We are told that we need to maintain our integrity. This is the theme for Heritage this month. Maintaining our traditional integrity and celebrating our cultural identity. For centuries, indigenous people throughout the length and breadth of the world have faced smallpox, Ebola, whatever diseases would have come, and we would have used our various bush medicines and have come through successfully. Now, I'm not against whatever you choose for yourselves, but I'm saying let us have the freedom if we want to or not, and have the permission to enter any building without hindrance. Land rights is our choice. Human rights is our choice. Black rights are our choice. Children rights are our choice. Vaccination rights are our choice. Ian Watson says, if you have to persuade someone, remind someone, coerce someone, pressure someone, lie to someone, socially show them or threaten them, criminalize them, whatever is their offering, it is not in your best interest.
All right. That's right. Yes.
Finally, some facts, because there's a lot of misinformation that men claim that are being propagated. Gert van Bosch worked for GSK, Navantis, Gavi, Pareco. He's a pro-vaccine expert. He says that if you are inoculated and double jab, you'll see that you only have the preventative measures for one spike. So all through the world, Israel included, with a population inoculated of over 90%.
Folks, as we come to you, folks, we're getting developments that some protesters have gathered outside of the Minister of Education's building, and we're going to bring that to you now. Let's see what is happening outside there. This is outside of the Minister of Education building on Brickdam. Protesters have decided that they will take their actions in front of 21 Brickdam there, where the Minister of Education is supposed to be. Again, the protest action continues in Linden, but we're tracking all that is happening around Georgetown now. Protesters have decided to move the protest outside of the Ministry of Education, and we're picking up on that now, coming from Camps TV here.
Our children, our children, our future. My body, my choice. 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 Preposition prayer must go. Preposition prayer must go. Preposition prayer must go. Preposition prayer must go.
As the chant is preposition prayer must go.
Preposition prayer must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Preposition prayer 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 must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Sit down, girl. Must go. Preposition prayer must go. Preposition prayer must go. Consent prayer must go. Consent prayer must go. Preposition prayer must go. Sit down, girl. Sit down, girl. Our bodies, our choice. Our bodies, our choice. Our bodies, our choice. Our bodies, our choice. No mandates. No mandates. All mandates must go. 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 All mandates must go now. All mandates must go now. Consent prayer must go. Consent prayer must go. Sit down, girl. Sit down, girl. Consent prayer must go. Consent prayer must go. Sit down, girl. Sit down, girl. The wicked witch. Wicked witch. Consent minister. Consent minister. Consent prayer. Consent prayer. Preposition prayer. Preposition prayer. Our bodies. Our choice. Our bodies. Our choice. Our children. Our future. Our children. Our future. Our children. Our future. Our children. Our future. Consent prayer. Consent prayer. Consent prayer. Preposition prayer. Preposition prayer. Preposition prayer. Consent prayer.
Folks, as we continue to monitor what is happening out there, right? Protest continues on the Square of the Revolution. As we're monitoring that, folks, we're monitoring all that is happening there. That was at the 21 breakdown, the Ministry of Education. Let's join our correspondent now to see what is happening out there.
Preposition prayer. Preposition prayer. Consent minister. Consent minister. Consent minister. Consent minister. Our bodies. Our bodies. Our children. Our children. Our children. Our children. Our children. Our children. On mandates. On mandates. Must go. On mandates. Must go. On mandates. Must go. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go. You must go. You must go. You got to go. You must go. You got to 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 go.
bodies, our choice. Our bodies, our choice. Our bodies. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. Our bodies. Our bodies. Our bodies. Our children. Our children. Our children. Our children. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. On Monday. Repetition fear. Repetition fear. Don't sin fear. Don't sin fear.
Continuing to monitor what is happening outside of the office of the Minister of Education, as some protesters have decided that they will take their discontent up Dam. Of course, the mini rally still continues in Linden there. The mini rally still continues in Linden for those persons who are paying attention around the country. Their actions all morning, all around the country. So we are monitoring. MP Fagere is speaking there in Linden. Let's listen for a bit as we come back to what is happening. And when we'll come back, of course, in a bit to what is happening there at the Ministry of Education. Let's listen to Linden now.
Yes.
Comrades.
Yes.
I come today to have a conversation with you.
Yes.
Talk to us.
The conversation.
Louis. 32 years ago, when the 10-to-1 budget was declared, moving the Guyana dollar, devaluing the Guyana dollar, 10 Guyana dollar to 1 US. It was on the 4th of April that the bauxite workers marched from the Aribo mine to Linden, to the town. It was that day that they walked from West Bank mine and come over the bridge and ended up at Scottish Square. It was the only people, while you have had a strike throughout this country, it was the only people who received something or were able to clinch an agreement. And that agreement, entailed in that agreement, was that 1% of the sales of bauxite be put aside to purchase food for the bauxite community. I'm telling you these things 9 years ago, when this town was closed down. Those who are 80 now were 9 then, and they cannot remember. And those who in 1989, when that made great march and struggle took place in this town, those you're talking 32 years ago, many of you were not born. History must be a lesson for you. There's some, in 1971, a political leader by the name of Bob Burnham.
Yes, man.
He said, Linden shall be the cradle of the revolution at Coffee Square.
That's right.
I want to tell you that all the events that came before and the struggle you're involved in now, it is a part of that process of a revolution. Our position is very clear, very simple. Mandating anything is an imposition. And as long as you're imposing things on people, you are attacking their fundamental rights and freedoms. And the time has come for people to stand up. This vaccine that they're talking about, don't count this issue that it is a vaccine.
All right, I hear you.
It is basically
a group of people who believe that because since post-independence, it is the first time a group of people do not have political leadership. They believe that they can trample your right. They believe now it is time for them to run over you.
Yes.
They're not going to stop at the vaccine. The president already has said that the public servants last year, he said the public servants will not receive increases. This year he's saying that they will receive increases retroactive to January. But what they're not saying, that they are prepared to sit down and negotiate with the unions. Better working conditions and increased wages and salaries. This is dictatorship. And we must take a position. We must take a stand. If we don't take a stand, they're going to run over us.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
They're going to destroy us.
Nowadays, if you talk, they want to fire you. If you talk, they want to kill you. Don't forget what they did to Oliver Inson. Don't forget what the butcher community did to 500 young men. Don't forget, these guys have not stopped and they will never stop. We will have to stop them. If we are going to talk about democracy, then we are going to exercise our right to dissent. I heard German talk before me and he said, the man said, those who believe that the coalition may have won the election, they are retards. I want to tell you something. Tell that man for me, let him pull the mirror and look in the mirror, you see the retard. Anybody who critically examines something because they're sensible and the shenanigans that took place in the 2020 election must be questioned.
That's right.
And since they have been questioned, don't see yourselves as the retard. The people are making the statement that you are retard, they are the retard. Let them look in the bloody mirror. They will see it there.
They're going to see who's retarded.
Let me tell you. This vaccine. The China Trade Union Congress, of which I had the honor to represent, has taken a clear position. The issue here, it is an individual choice.
Yes.
This government has said that this is a national crisis. Even if it's a national crisis, health crisis, what they have to do, there's nothing which says that there's a national health crisis that they can impose. Let me tell you what. The Occupation Safety and Health Act, Chapter 47 of that Act, 47.3. You know what it says? If an employer prescribes for an employee.
As we rejoin what is happening here, we are picking up on some things happening there. Let's see what is happening here with Kadak. I think they were picked up by the police.
Agents of oppression. Look at them. Look at their black faces. The agents of oppression. The agents of oppression. Look at them. I was constitutionally protesting. These are the agents. Look at their faces. Let's argue and call people vagrant. Look at them. Look at them. Look at the agents of oppression. Look at the agents of oppression. They attacked me as a peaceful protester. Look at them. The agents of oppression. I was protesting within my democratic rights. They assaulted me. They assaulted me. I broke no law. I broke no law. I broke no law. I was assaulted by the agents of the state. I was assaulted by the agents of the state. State bullyism is a play. State bullyism. Look at the faces of oppression. Look at them. Look at them. They assaulted me. They call citizens of this country vagrants. They assaulted me. They call citizens of this country vagrants. I was protesting within my democratic rights. I was protesting within my of oppression. They assaulted me. The agents of oppression assaulted me. I was protesting within my constitutional right. I broke no law. I broke no law. I'm not been told why I am not been told why I was arrested and assaulted. The police from Baghdad police station assaulted me. They assaulted me. One officer grabbed me by my crutches and threw me into a bus. Yes, they assaulted me.
And they threw me in the bus and brought me down to Brigade.
They assaulted me. The agents of oppression, look at their faces. Look at their faces. Guyanese citizens have no right to peacefully protest.
He's not answering the phone.
Guyanese citizens have no right to peacefully protest. Guyanese citizens protesting within their constitutional rights. We're brutalized. We're assaulted by the police. I don't have to go behind the counter. I have not been told why I'm here. Until you can tell me why I'm here, I will not go behind the counter. I will not go behind the counter. I was assaulted. I want to file charges. I want to file charges. I was assaulted. I want to file charges. I want to file charges. I was assaulted. I stood peacefully on the sidewalks of Brigham, exercising my constitutional rights. And I was assaulted. I want to file charges. I was assaulted. I was assaulted. I want to file charges. I want to file charges. I want to file charges. Where's the officer in charge? I want to file charges. I want to file charges. I want to file charges. I have a complaint. I want to file charges. The officer in charge. I want to file charges. I was assaulted. I was assaulted. I want to file charges. I stood peacefully on the sidewalks of Baghdad. I stood peacefully on the sidewalks of Baghdad as a citizen of the deal land of Guyana. And I was assaulted. I want to file charges. The agents of oppression assaulted me. The agents of oppression assaulted me. I want to file charges. Look at their faces. Look at their faces. The agents of oppression. I demand to see the officer in charge. I want to file charges. I demand to see the officer in charge. I demand to see the officer in charge. I want to file charges. The police assaulted me. I was exercising my democratic right. I was exercising my democratic right. I was exercising my democratic right. I was exercising my democratic right.
And you guys
do not speak.
You guys say
do not speak
anything. Let them
give no information. I want the officer in charge.
Yes.
Do not give any information.
Yes.
I I want the officer in charge. I want the officer in charge. They assaulted me.
Come and say why
I was assaulted.
and bring us
You don't give any information. Refuse to cooperate. Refuse to cooperate. Refuse to cooperate. Let the agents of oppression give reasons. Let the officers in charge come. Refuse to give information. Refuse to give information. Refuse to cooperate. Refuse to cooperate. Citizens have a democratic right. I stood peacefully on the sidewalks of Brooklyn. I stood peacefully on the sidewalks of Brooklyn. The police assaulted me. I want to file a complaint. I want to file a complaint. I want to file a complaint. Where are the seniors? I want the officer in charge. I have a complaint to make. I have a complaint to make. Where is the senior officer? Where is the senior officer? I have a complaint to make. I was assaulted. I wish to file charges. I wish to file charges as a citizen of this country. I was assaulted on Brooklyn by agents of the state. I wish to file charges. Where are the seniors? Where's the officer in charge? They came without badges. They came without badges. They came as a process. They came to assault peaceful citizens. I want to file charges. Good day, Mr. Primus. I am not good. I was assaulted.
You put this thing in your food and telling you and these things. I don't want to go there. This is no, it's not. One pan, give it 6 months and putting stuff in my food fingernail.
Do not give any information. Do not give any information. Do not give any information. Do not.
Good afternoon.
Give any information. Do not give any information. Do not give any information.
We got stamina. We got strength.
When they tell us in the next week that we can't go, are we going to get tired?
We're going to come back to what is happening there. We're going to come back to what is happening there in Linden, but we just wanted listening to Brooklyn Police Station as they would have arrested some persons who were protesting out there. Let's just see what is happening there.
I'm instructed to put on my phone, which I'll do.
All right, so we have some issues with that, but let's listen to what's happening, Lynn, and we'll keep you abreast. We'll keep you updated with what has happened to those protesters out there at the Ministry of Education. Let's listen to Linden.
People that forget their history, they're liable to make the same mistakes. You know that? Yeah. And what happens is that we have a short-term memory. We forget things very easily. Now, how many of you remember that this government was not really for all of the COVID-19 scenarios? You remember that?
Of course.
You know that, right?
Yeah, we know that.
But all of a sudden, they decided that they're going to do what? Mandate. They're going to tell us what to do. And as far as I know, the hospital belongs to us. GRA belongs to us. Parliament belongs to the people. And every other building belongs to the people. In fact, even the government belongs to us. No, hold on, you don't need to own them. But it's our government as a rule. That means the government belongs to us. You take what I'm saying?
You're getting the point.
And if that's the case, then everything that is in the government's possession belongs to us.
That's right.
But I'm not political.
I'm political, I said for you.
You're political. No problem. But in 1918 and 1919, how many of you heard of the Spanish flu?
All right.
You heard of that? How many of you know that Spanish flu on record was told to kill about half the population of the world?
That's true. Very true.
So compared to what we're dealing with right now, this is a walk in the park. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Now, what they didn't tell you is that about over excess of 80% of all of you already got COVID already.
That's right. COVID was always there.
Most people are shocked to know that they already had COVID. But it's a statistical fact also that 80% of all of us already had COVID. And we have built immunity to the actual virus. And by the way, just in case you think that you don't keep that immunity, you'd be wrong, because we know from the SARS-CoV-1 virus from 2001 that the people that got that virus still have immunity today. Do you understand what I'm saying? They still have immunity today. That means that the body's immune system has a better chance than any vaccine that they put out so far. And what I'm stating is a medical fact. This cannot be disputed. In fact, what we're really calling upon are the medical and scientific bodies that be in Guyana to come and have this discussion with us here. We want to see that they have some science that we just never heard of.
That's right.
And we want to see the facts. Let them persuade us that that is so. And we also want to show the facts also for this. Now, if 80%, over 80% of us have already got this virus, don't you think you rather take your chances? Do you know that children have a 99.975 chance of never having a problem with COVID-19? Why would you give them a vaccine?
That's right. That's right.
What do you want to do to them? No, I'm not necessarily for a conspiracy, and not every conspiracy is necessarily a conspiracy theory, but we look like we're almost in a conspiracy because out of nowhere came a mandate for vaccines. Now, let's jump back a little bit in history, and then I gotta go. In 1918, 1919, they started army hospitals, and the army hospitals were taking care of those that got Spanish flu. There were also sanitariums at work in the United States of America, and the sanitariums took in the patients, and the army hospitals took in patients. Now, look at this. In the Hutchinson Institute in Ohio, there was a seminary there where 90 of the 100 students got Spanish flu. And there was a doctor on staff that understood the use of water. The use of what?
Water.
A number of you would probably have no idea if I said there's something called hydrotherapy. You can treat this disease with water. You can treat this disease with hot and cold. In fact, the acute respiratory distress syndrome, where the lungs fill up with fluid and the person can't breathe, you can treat that effectively by the use of hot and cold water. I kid you not. And we would like to actually utilize this and show that these are the principles that were used since back in the 1980s and 1990s. And not to tell you something that is not proven, but 90 students out of 120, and not one single one of them got sick, and not one of them died. It's a proven fact. This is on record. It's also in the actual Gazette. So these are records I'm talking about. There are things that we can do naturally that can effectively help us in dealing with COVID-19.
That's right.
It's just that a lot of the things that can be done have been suppressed. It has not had the light of day. There are medicines that have been being in use. You heard of ivermectin, haven't you? Yes. Do you know they use ivermectin to treat COVID-19? Now, do you know that the medication that we got for filaria, do you know that they use that to treat COVID-19? What about the medication for malaria? They use that for treating COVID-19, but none of those medicines have been approved by anyone. In fact, they have been given only negative reviews because there's one thing they're pushing. That is, everyone needs to get a vaccination. Now that would have been all right and good
if we could show that the vaccines were safe and effective, but we can't. We cannot do that. Now, when the APNU government came to help Londoners to go get vaxxed, I was there. And Doug Gittins was in that audience. You know Doug Gittins? Yes. No, I'm not his friend. I didn't know the man. But Karen Cummings asked for a show of hands of those that did not get that vaccine, and he was one of them that put up his hand. And when he did so, she said, I see that the deputy did not get his vaccine. What is preventing you? And he said, you know what? I'm going to go and get it today. He said that. I was there. That's correct. And he went and he got the vaccine. Hold on just a moment. What did he die from? COVID. What did he die from? COVID. That's what they say. Now, how come no one said anything about it? You didn't know? I heard the health minister said that no one didn't die after taking the vaccination. Is that true? Yes, I already said that too. Yes. That's true. Hold on just a moment. And that there are apparently no adverse effects. But let me tell you something. Adverse effects are only one of the effects that you can have. Every vaccine almost comes with adverse effects. But there is within drugs what are known as teratogenic effects, effects that can happen 40 years later. We haven't seen what this vaccine can do yet. We don't know. We are the experiment that is ongoing right now. Hold up just a moment. The fastest vaccine ever produced by man on planet Earth was the mumps vaccine. It took 4 years. And one of the reasons why it took 4 years was that they thought that it could give men sterility. And so they hurried that vaccine along. No, this vaccine took less than 10 months. What do you call that? That's an experimental vaccine. And we are the lab rats. Are you a lab rat? No. Let me hear that. The ones that already took it, well, we're going to pray for them. We are not against people that take vaccines. Don't get me wrong. We're against you forcing me to take the vaccine. It is my body, and therefore it is my choice. And it's a plain concept. And we cannot, in matters of conscience, when it comes to our health, we are the ones to decide what will happen to me. Do you understand that? Yes. And to my children. That's the same thing. And I am so happy that we have some people in Linden that are at least thinking people. They're not going to just be told what they need to do, but they're going to have a mind to choose what they are going to decide to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. Yes. Do we have thinking people in Linden? Yes. That's what we need today. And I'll tell you what we need. Listen to what we need. Yes, there is some bush medicine. I can't talk about all the medicine that we can have. But my number, you can have it. All right. And you'll see that there are many ways of treating COVID-19, and we can do it over and over and over again. Now, listen to me carefully. What we're dealing with, we cannot necessarily impact the entire country just by gathering together. Do you understand what I'm saying? Listen to me. We cannot impact the entire country just by gathering together. We have to get together as a group and get the courts involved. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Or else we're not going to be able to move the entire people to do something that is for our own good. You see what I'm saying? We have to mobilize and get people that are interested in understanding the medicine and the science. Now listen, I would wish that Dr. Anthony and all the doctors that are promoting this type of thing will come here and have a discussion. We don't want them just to say what they think the vaccine can do. Right. We want them to show what the vaccine does and the safety and the efficacy. And then we must show also the other side of the story. You know what I'm saying? And when we put the two concepts side by side, then let the people decide. What do you say? Yes. Now, just let me let you with one last thing. If anyone contracts breathing troubles, COVID-19, please do not Do not just think that you can't contact me. Contact me immediately. We are happy to come. Should I give the number? Yes. 615 6589 615 6589. That's the only number I know that you got today. But we can show by science, we can show by medicine, we can show by almost all of the criteria that something can be done with COVID-19. Do you understand what I'm saying? Thank you so much. My body, my choice. Make some noise for Dr. Carter. No, does that? Oh, no, so. I just remember one part of that. Does the doctor sound like a retard to you? No, it's not. And you're not a retard either. Corona in my country, Jesus will provide. That's what you gotta say, right? Corona in my country. Can I get a little rhythm? Jesus will provide. Corona in my country. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the podium right about now, we have a young man, son of the soil. Every night he goes into the ring. Every night he wins. Ladies and gentlemen, in the white corner, weighing 190 pounds. He comes from the mining town of Linden. Put your hands together for Gerard Duncan.
Linden, how we doing? Let's fight, Linden! Region 10, we ready to fight? All right? You know, people ask me how I survived. Is Linden a barn? I was born at Mackenzie Hospital. You understand me? You know, lots of the speakers said I ain't political, but I'm political. When you're dealing with these jagabats, when you're dealing with the jagabat named Taktia, you got to be political. When you're dealing with these crosses like Anna and Angela, you got to be political. Now, if there are any set of people should be afraid to take the vaccine, it's the jagabats. Ashley Singh don't know if this vaccine can stunt the growth. Jack, you don't know if you take this vaccine and you can't get children. Kwame don't know if you take this vaccine and you can't get handsome. They should be very afraid. And I don't know. The bishop don't know if he take this vaccine and he can't get unbishop. The bishop. You see these jagabats? But London, you're looking nice. Last week, some of us were in Brooklyn, but I ain't think Brooklyn got nothing on London. You see this country? You see these people? Listen to me. In January of this year, the PPP and the Pocketori came to Linden. They had an outreach in Linden, their first outreach, coming to tell Lindeners that they care. Huh? Ask the people from the frequency management unit at the fire if they care. Ask the people who are the taxi service contract at the hospital if they care. Ask the people. Huh? What is the CEO of them? That load fella? Rudy? Oh, you got the comorbidities. You should be afraid to take the vaccine. These jagabats, look at what they did in Linden since they touched down. One Pocketori to the next. These folks that claim they care,
Look what they did to the nurses. London training too much of nurses. You ever heard any nonsense like that? My mother was trained here at Charles Rosa Nursing School. She's in Bermuda. My aunt was trained there. She's in the US. Good people come from London. But they say London training too much of nurses. These crosses. Huh? This cross them guilt to Shara. This big cross. I will say it. You don't have to say it. When I was 13, that cross named Gator Shara went to Parliament. Now I am Parliament fighting she. And we talking about give up the struggle now? Folks, we got some dark days ahead of us. I ain't gonna fool y'all. This is struggle. I have been made to understand they have arrested Kadaki and Amsterdam and some others today. They were protesting in front of the Ministry of Education. We got some dark days ahead of us. But these crosses ain't dressing back. How we gonna dress back? I didn't know. I didn't know that the bishop was such a cross. London will tell you, many shall say, Lord, Lord. Many. That man was chairman of the Integrity Commission. All the time he's a wolf in sheep clothing. All the time. Folks, we gotta fight them. And the struggle got different dimensions. Not all of us can come forward like this. Not all of us can speak the way I do. But every one of us got our role to play in this struggle together. And so, I did not even plan to say anything today. But leave knowing here, leave knowing this, leave knowing this. Every rope got an end. And I thought 2015 would have taught the PPP that. Every rope got an end. And we defeat them once, we can defeat them again. We defeat them once, we can defeat them again. These camps, these jagabots, these crosses, these trench capos, we are going to defeat them. I am not worried. What are they going to do to me? I see going to jail and prison as a political rite of passage. Y'all do what y'all got to do, and we can do what we got to do. Because if it's one thing I know about London, we run things, things don't run we. London, we run things, things don't run we. Region 10, we run things, things don't run we. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
That's right. Make some noise for Sherry Duncan. You know the rain coming. Rain, sun, don't stop at the.
As we continue, folks, let me share with you that those persons who are protesting in front of the Ministry of Education, they were arrested. They were arrested, folks. Let me just share that with you, including Kadaki Amsterdam of CAMS TV program. And of course, we were live when they were taken, but we want to bring to you the footage now of the police arresting them, courtesy of our friends at the Village Voice. Let's bring that to you, because what is interesting, folks, that you may notice in the footage, that the police officers did not identify themselves. They had on, most of them had on a no badge, no sort of identification. Again, this is a trend that we see with the Guyana Police Force, where police officers take off their badges that may be able to identify them, and they go on and do these instructions, carry out these instructions that obviously have been passed down by their political masters. But let us view the footage.
Yes,
Listen to me! I am not resisting! Listen to me! I am not resisting! Listen to me! Listen to me! I am not resisting!
People in Guyana, and they're taking the kids to the home in Pleasance and stealing them and beating them and chopping them up.
I know though. I broke no law. I walk in the road and you have to protect me, put me in the bus. I was protesting peacefully as a citizen. You stop in the media. You stop in the media. You stop in the media. I stop in the media. Peacefully. I will be there by protesting. This is my democratic right to protest. This is my democratic right to protest.
Right, folks, right? That is what we are looking at there. The police. There are a number of protesters who left the office here to go down the dam location of the Ministry of Education, 21 Bergdam. They were arrested, pushed into those vehicles as you see there, and of course taken to the Bergdam police station. Folks, this is what we have come to in this country. This is what we have come to in this country. If we continue to look at what is happening in Linden, I wanted that to sink in. There are about 10 persons standing in front of the Ministry of Education. Obviously, the police were called. The police were called to take them away, just like the police were called to drag those persons out of their homes. Sorry, out of their offices. Right? As I said, it's only time before the police come to your homes. But the police were called to take those education officers out of their offices because they didn't show a vaccination card. Now, these 10 persons who are standing up protesting peacefully, they weren't throwing bricks in the Ministry of Education. They weren't blocking traffic. They were protesting peacefully in front of the Ministry of Education. And this is what I'm saying, folks. The heavy-handedness of the Guyana Police Force is on instruction. It is on instruction. Obviously, somebody had said, look, get those people away from there. So the police came out in force to take the couple of people who decided that they want to air their grievances. They want to air their grievances. They want to let the Minister of Education know what they feel. But the police force came out. They came out in force and chucked them into the vehicle and took them to Bergdam police station. This is the country we are living in, folks. This is the country we are living in. Make no mistakes about it. They're all comfortable. They're good for people to go and stamp on the square, and they send 100 police to surround them. Right? The minute that moves and you go and show your discontent somewhere else, look what happens. I wonder if everybody that was standing at coffee had moved down to Bergdam in front of the ministry, if the police had arrested everybody. Folks, make no mistake about it. We are living in a dictatorship. I want you to look at it again. I want you to look at it again. This is the country we live in.
Listen to me! I am not resisting! Listen to me! I am not resisting! Listen to me! Listen to me! I am not resisting!
People in Guyana, and they're taking the kids to the home in Pleasance and stealing them and beating them and chopping them up.
I know though. Dictatorship! I broke no law! I walk in the road and you are going to protect me, put me in the bus. I was protesting peacefully as a citizen. You stopping the media. You stopping the media. You stopping the media. I stopping the media. Peacefully. I will be there for protest. And then my democratic right to protest. And then my democratic right to protest.
This is the country, folks. That is Guyana. That is the sort of brute force that is met out to those persons who decide that they want to go and let the Minister of Education know that they're discontented with their actions. That is where we are, folks. Make no mistakes about it. Make no mistake about it. That we have transcended from this idea of just protesting for protesting's sake. This is a fight for our freedom in this country. Make no mistake about it. I said it last night and I said, look, what is stopping the government from kicking your door down and asking for your vaccination card? If you allow them to drag you out of your workplace. Kadaki Amsterdam and those persons who are peacefully protesting. What is the rationale? Why did the police come in such force to drag them into buses and take them into the police station? But we in Guyana, we feel we just sit down. Because it is happening to me. Folks, this is getting serious. Let me continue our broadcast. We are still looking at what is happening there in Linden. We're still paying attention to what is happening there in Linden, folks.
He was a defender of all African slaves. They came to jail and beat him and put him in a grave. They was so afraid and still beat him. He was so strong. He was so strong. He was a
So the action there would have died down a bit in Linden. But folks, we're still monitoring. We're still monitoring what is happening. We're still monitoring what is happening as we, right? Okay. Yes, we're still monitoring what's happening. We're trying to pick up on some information coming into us here, but we're hoping that, right? Yes, this person said the police are being used to do the dirty bidding of the PPP. Again, folks, and this is the reason, folks. This is the reason why you cannot sit in your homes and pretend that everything is okay and hope that everything will get better. Everything will not get better if you just sit down. Imagine protesting them. Now, I looked at a video the other day where those farmers up there who didn't get their monies, those farmers who didn't get their monies blocked the roads. Where was the police to swoop down on them and arrest them? Why they didn't go at coffee and arrest those 100 people out there? Why they waited until the couple that stood in front of the minister's office? Because they know that they can take advantage of 2 or 3 people. Unless we allow them, they will continue to bully us. Why then go to Linden and arrest the people that walk in, marching and meeting and protesting? Why they arrest the 5-6 persons in front of the minister's office who are peacefully protesting? Folks, let's wrap up. I want to show you that video again, and then we'll wrap up. Right? The protest has, come to an end in Linden. We see what is happening here in Georgetown, but this will continue, folks. This has to continue. Has to continue as we take one more look at what happened there with those protesters outside of the Ministry of Education peacefully protesting.
People in Guyana, and they're taking the kids to the home in Pleasance and stealing them and beating them and chopping them up.
I know though. I broke no law. I walk in the road and you are protecting me, put me in the box. I was protesting peacefully as a citizen. You stop in the media. You stop in the media. You stop in the media. I stop in the media. Peacefully. I will be there. This is my democratic right. And that's my democratic right.
Folks, what you're seeing there is dictatorship in action, because there is no valid reason to arrest peaceful protesters. You, as a Guyanese, you have a right to protest. I leave you with this, folks. You need to ask yourself why it is that those 5 or 6 persons who were protesting Priya Malik Chan, was the police swooped down on them with so much force and moved them. They're afraid. They're calculating that people will come out there and join. Folks, this is time for us to wake up. I don't intend to live in a dictatorship. Let's keep our eyes open. Let's continue to work for national development. But these actions will continue. We'll go on as we monitor what is happening with those persons who were arrested and the continued action around the country. My name is Randolph Critchell. I want to thank you for being a part of the broadcast this afternoon. Thank you very much for sharing the live stream. Thank you very much for participating. For those persons who came out and protested today, we thank you very much for your bravery in the face of the oppressive regime. Thank you very much as we continue to battle this dictatorship brought on us by this installed fraudulent regime. Thank you very much for being a part of the broadcast. Do enjoy the rest of your day.